Welcome to HB Reddit Stories. Today we will see stories of r/am I the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for suggesting my teacher host my son's party at her house? Throwaway and fake names. I realize this was probably very petty, but I want to see if I am justified or just an a-hole and owe an apology. My son, Sam, had his 9th birthday today, but we're having the actual party tomorrow night, which is basically just a sleepover at our apartment with 2 friends. One is in his class and the other in a different one, same school though. Before my son even got home from the bus, I got a call from his teacher, Lorna, requesting that the party involve all the students in the class. She learned about it because it came up as the class wished him a happy birthday. I at first politely refused, saying that's not reasonable, but she insisted to make sure nobody was left out. I respond by saying that she has no say in who is at my home ever, and that even if she did, my apartment simply cannot accommodate 32 kids and guardians. She says that because other students are involved, she does, and that I should have the party somewhere that can allow all students. I was ready to either hang up or tell her off, but what she said at the end sparked an idea. I tell her, okay, what's your address? And when she asks why, I told that since you think you have a say and you want all your students to be a part, we might as well have the party have her house, and request her address again. There's a pause before she says that's not exactly what she meant, and I tell her that no, she wants everyone to attend, so she should be the one to make it work, before hanging up. This is where I probably became the a-hole. Out of curiosity, I easily found her address. Her SM is not private at all, and email her. How does this email sound? With an excerpt to the group email chain saying that Lorna has offered to host Sam's birthday party at her home and to come after school to X address. I was not planning on actually sending that to anyone else but her. I just wanted to prove the point and felt I was being sarcastic, but I know tone is hard online. She responded to not send it and to do whatever I want for the birthday. She does not care anymore. When I vented to my husband about it, he called me unhinged, but he agreed with my point. I'll admit, I have a bit of a habit going overboard when I feel wronged and probably went nuts, but I can't believe the audacity of this lady. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Everyone sucks here. Stopping the teacher's power play by throwing her logic at her. Genius. But then you had to be creepy about it towards the end. Public or not, that was weird, and your email could have been interpreted as thinly veiled "I know where you live" threat. I agree with your great argument, but you definitely went overboard. Teacher is the a-hole for trying to dictate who you are paying for and involving in your kid's life. You can't help that it came up in class. Of course kids talk about their birthdays. Unless you came in or your kid came in and made a huge to-do about handing out invites to only certain kids, then teacher shouldn't be involved at all, and even then she still has no say other than she can request that invites be done outside of school/class. But instead of looking her up and seeming a bit creepy, maybe just ask, well, where would you like to host and pay for 32 kids then instead? And then just ignore her, because once again, if she isn't paying or hosting or watching all those kids, it isn't her decision, period. Everyone sucks here. As a teacher, wow. Wild. Lorna is part of the broken education system. It's unfortunate that your kid landed in her room, but I hope this was a random one-off and that she is typically a good teacher. However, you quickly went from being deeply justified and right to possibly opening yourself up to legal ramifications, especially with the paper trail evidence you so willingly created. Public schools teachers have protections and rights. You may have ventured into territory that can range from banning from all school property and events up to and including restraining orders, PFAs, and charges. Flip the script. In the teachers subreddit, if this was posted from Lorna's POV, there would be hundreds of comments suggesting forward to admin, union, along with all communications and documentation of parent. And from a union rep perspective, I've encouraged staff to pursue all legal paths to protect their teaching license and certifications. The old adage hits true here: 2 wrongs don't make a right. I tell my students comply, then complain. The second you pop off, like researching, premeditating, her address doubtful, her home address is listed on her Facebook, Instagram, etc. You looked elsewhere, you eliminate any real, justified complaint you had. Sooner rather than later, you need to send an extremely sincere apology, explanation of being caught off guard and reactive to her request, recognize that things could have been handled better by both parties, but most importantly, this miscommunication between adults should not affect the learning environment for any of the students in the room. Selfish plug. The teacher shortage is real. Lorna is still better than no one, or that class size of 42. We are on the same team with you, parents. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving back my finances' deceased grandmother's engagement ring? Throwaway account. I, 29 female, am engaged to Jake, 32 male. We have been engaged for 2 years. He has an older brother, Sam, 38. When Jake and I got engaged, Jake wanted me to have his grandmother's engagement ring. Jake talked to Sam and Sam said since he doesn't plan to get married or have children that Jake should use the ring. I love that ring and love the sentimental meaning behind it. Sam met a wonderful woman, Hannah, within the past year and they are expecting a child. Once they found out it would be a girl, Hannah told Sam she wants him to get the ring back for their daughter. Jake has already told Sam no. During Sunday dinner last weekend at my mother-in-law's house, Hannah brought up the ring and how it should be given to their daughter since she would a great-grandchild and I am not related by blood. It became an intense discussion. Luckily my mother-in-law also agrees with my fiancé and I. Hannah then asked if her daughter could have it in our will. I said no because it will either be given to our son or our future daughter. I told Hannah to take up her problem with Sam since he's the one who let Jake have the ring to give to me. Hannah ended up leaving the house crying. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. That's your engagement ring. Sam had his chance at the ring, but he passed it to Jake. It became your engagement ring. Him trying to somehow retroactively claim the engagement ring because his 1-year relationship wants it is crazy. It's even crazier that she wants it for an unborn baby. If the ring is valuable, this gives vibes that Hannah is money grubbing. I know you say she is wonderful, but this is worrying behavior for a year-old relationship. A baby is already on the way, and she's already looking for what she can take because baby is related. Definitely not the a-hole. Wow. The cajones on your brother-in-law and sister-in-law. His girlfriend. You may not be blood related, but neither is your sister-in-law, lol. Jake asked for the ring and Sam agreed, no takesy backsies. It is yours and should go to your children, period. I think maybe Hannah isn't used to be told no, lol. Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my coworker not to eat her cultural food in the break room? I know how the title sounds, and I'm sure as you begin reading this post it'll sound worse, but please hear me out. I, 25F, have a wonderful coworker, 54F, who I get along really well with. This coworker is Nepalese and I am a white woman. In the past she's been kind enough to bring in different food from her culture for us all to try. I have zero problem with her, or anyone else, bringing in food from their culture, and I've really enjoyed some of the dishes and sweets she's brought, especially the barfi she brought in earlier this year for Diwali. My workplace has lots of different cultures and I usually don't care what anyone else brings to lunch, at least until this situation. A couple of weeks ago I noticed a horrible smell in the break room that was incredibly strong. It was kind of like if you farted into a sweaty sock and stuck it to your face. It was honestly inescapable within the room, even after I changed the rubbish bin. I didn't know what it was, but ended up going outside and eating in my car. I figured it was just a one-off, but for every few days I'd smell it again. I genuinely had no idea where it was coming from. During this time I just ate outside the building, or in my car. However, one day I walked in and it was somehow even stronger. This day happened to be a day I had the same break as Jane. I noticed she was eating a fruit and realized that's where the smell was coming from. I asked what she was eating and she told me it was called durian, I think that's how it's spelt, and she had only recently found a good market for them. I said I was glad she was enjoying it but mentioned that its smell was quite overpowering and left the room smelling afterwards. I asked her if she wouldn't mind eating it at home, or going outside as the smell really lingers in the staff room. She said she never really noticed the smell but would do her best to do so. She seemed a bit annoyed but hasn't brought it into the break room since. I was talking with a friend about this, also white, and she said I was behaving in a racist way towards my coworker and it was wrong to police her cultural food. I argued that it wasn't a cultural thing and I'd have done the same if someone was microwaving fish or another smelly food. This has caused a debate between us about if what I did was offensive, and while I do still think I was right, I am beginning to question if I could be viewed as in the wrong. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole because it is durian. Everyone everywhere who eats durian knows it smells like butt. Her feigning innocence is infuriating. This cultural food is banned on public transit in some Southeast Asian countries because the smell is very well known. It literally famously smells awful. It's like surströmming, which famously smells so bad it makes people barf, and isn't supposed to even be opened indoors. OP replies. I actually didn't know it was so well known. I nor my friend had ever heard of it, but I'm quite sheltered when it comes to food. Not the a-hole, but you phrased the title as though you asked her not to eat Nepalese food at work. It should be am I the a-hole for asking my coworker not to eat durian in the break room, so much preamble to read when lots of people know what the crack is with durian. OP replies. Sorry, you're right, I wasn't aware durian was well known for its smell, to be honest, and didn't know much about it. I honestly thought it was just specific to Nepal. Many airlines and hotels who are Asian countries adjacent have been known to ban durian. Not your fault. Even Anthony Bourdain ate some and liked it, still had some things to say about its smell and aftertaste. Not the a-hole. OP replies. I would be interested to try it, though I honestly don't know if I'd be able to get over the smell, haha. Next story. Am I the a-hole for rebuking a friend after she referred to my girlfriend as the token Asian, leading to an awkward situation? My girlfriend is not from the same town as me, she recently moved here. Her and I have been dating for a few years, but she's a shy introvert girl and a bit socially awkward. We live in a Western country, so she's kind of living between two cultures because she's East Asian. Anyway, I have some female friends and I thought I could set her up with them and they could go on girl dates. And she could finally have some female friends here to hang out with rather than just me. My girlfriend liked the idea and my friends also were keen to get to know her. They met up the first time and were planning stuff when one of the girls jokingly referred to my girlfriend as the token Asian. They're all stereotypical white girls, as basic and stereotypically white as you can get, and it just felt so unnecessary and offensive to me. My girlfriend laughed it off, but I got angry and told them off and demanded they apologize to her. The whole situation got very awkward and now the entire plans are cancelled. My girlfriend thinks I overreacted and I ruined her chance to make friends. Top comments. Not the a-hole. As someone who was called the token black girl for years, I took tons of microaggressions for years and never said anything just to have friends. I was shy and insecure and didn't want to make waves. But the fact is, comments like this aren't cool, joking or not. My race is not a joke. Being a token anything isn't something funny. Not the a-hole, but talk to your girlfriend about this, explain why you're upset, and then listen to how she feels about the situation. If she genuinely doesn't care, then you should probably drop it. If she doesn't care, and it still bothers you, you should drop the friends instead. Because what your friend said was racist. I don't necessarily think it's worth ending a friendship over if you think she was just making a crappy joke and your girlfriend doesn't actually care, though. Speaking as a Asian, who used to brush off comments like that in order to fit it, those girls would have never really been friends with your girlfriend. The ringleader would keep the others from ever allowing real friendship. They would keep her around as a token and insist they can't be racist because Asian friend. They will never get to know her as a human person, she'll always be the Asian one. OP replies. Exactly. I know how these girls operate. They were basically saying to her, you will always be different, you will never be one of us. Even if she became their friend, her defining trait would be that she's Asian. It's like you'd have this girl whose defining trait is she's funny, this girl whose defining trait is she's bossy, and this girl whose defining trait is that she's Asian. That's exactly the sort of comment they were making. Next story. Am I the a-hole for removing my groupmate's name in a group exam because she did not contribute anything throughout the course? Hello all. I, 21M, am a senior in university. For one of our courses, we had a group exam, and it was that thing where you choose your grown group. We needed to be a group of 5, but we were only 3, so this one girl asked if she could be in our group. She had a reputation for not being actively involved, but since we needed to be a group of 5, I reluctantly agreed. Throughout the course, we had group projects, to which she contributed absolutely nothing. In fact, during those group projects, she would ask us if she was a part of our group, but still contribute little to nothing. I still added her name to our group, but I became increasingly frustrated as time went on. Then, our midterms came along, and it was a group exam where we had to be on site to take it. To nobody's surprise, she informed me through our class representative that she wouldn't be going to class. In the middle of the exam, she had the nerve to ask me if she was a part of our group, as if we did not include her the first, second, third, and fourth time. At that point, I just gave up and excluded her totally. I did not reply to her message because we wanted to focus on the exam, it was time sensitive. Then, afterwards, our class representative talked to me, and she sent me a screenshot of this girl asking her why I am not replying. To this day, I still did not reply to her messages, and now she is pretty upset at me. So, am I the a-hole? Edit, thanks to everyone who weighed in, I genuinely appreciate it. For those who asked, the rest of the group did remind her countless times about what she has to do, but alas, it's either an excuse or a no-show. Our professor was just recently informed of the incidents because it turns out she wasn't just doing this to me, but in every other class as well. I didn't bring it up initially because I don't really bring this stuff up, I'm used to it, it's just that this particular incident pushed me over the edge. I do realize that I also have some lapses within the situation as well, and looking back, I do acknowledge and accept that I'm also partly at fault for how I handled stuff. I've read most of your comments, and I'll definitely consider them when handling a future similar situation. Thanks y'all. Top comments. Not the a-hole, but if it was me I would have replied, what do you think you did that was your part of the group project, and leave it open-ended to see how she would reply. But I understand that not replying is actually probably better for your energy and nerves. Not the a-hole. This is one of the reasons I hate group projects. I once worked a group presentation, where one student made no effort and did not meet up for meetings. At the end of the presentation, we had to submit a hard copy of the data. We only put his first name on the cover, as we never learned his last name. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my partner fake propose to me while on vacation? Genuinely was not sure what sub to post this in. My F28 partner, M30, and I went on vacation last week for our 2-year anniversary and just got back 2 days ago. It was a fantastic, amazing and romantic vacation all up to the point when my partner suggested we ask a stranger to take a picture of us in a fake proposal in front of the Eiffel Tower. When he asked this, my heart started beating so fast, I immediately assumed he was saying fake proposal as a ruse for a real proposal, which is not something we have talked about yet. I think I just said, wait, what do you mean? And he said that proposal pictures in this spot were really popular and that we should take the opportunity while we can. I said that I wasn't really interested in a fake proposal picture and that I thought it was weird that he would suggest that. We moved on pretty quickly and went to dinner. When we got back to our hotel that evening I asked him about it, since it had been on my mind and I could tell that I had actually really upset him. I asked him explicitly, were you planning on actually proposing to me and I ruined it? And he said no, that he doesn't think we are ready for that step, and for the record, I agree. Our relationship was long distance for the first 8 months and I am planning on moving in with him when my lease is up in January. He said that he always thought the proposal picture in front of the Eiffel Tower was really romantic and that he's worried whenever he actually does propose it won't be as romantic as Paris, so he wanted to get the picture while we could. I apologized but told him that I was only interested in actual proposal pictures, and that I would love them whenever/wherever it happened. He has been pretty crestfallen since this conversation and I really feel like I genuinely ruined something for him. I called some friends when we got home and got mixed advice, some agreeing that it was a really odd request, and some saying I should have just taken the fake proposal photo, which would have been no harm done. Am I the a-hole for not taking the photo with him? Top comments. Not the a-hole. It is weird. And also tone deaf on his part. Like, what was he planning on doing with the photos? Anyone seeing them online would instantly think it was genuine before reading any accompanying text that explains it's fake. Which is just a jerkish move in itself. The only way it would make sense is if he actually was planning on proposing and is too proud now to admit it. But you don't spring a fake proposal idea for that. You just ask a stranger to take a few photos, and they'll quickly realize what's happening. Fake proposals aren't romantic. Even in front of the Eiffel Tower. And if he's bummed because he genuinely just wanted to do a fake proposal for craps and giggles and you said no, then boo-hoo, he's an adult, tell him to get over it. Not the a-hole. On the one hand, he's right that he might not have as romantic a spot to propose when the time comes. But what the F are you supposed to do with fake proposal pictures? Save them until you get engaged and then send out 2-year-old photos and have everybody say, did they go to Paris again? It's been made clear to me that I'm an old curmudgeon, but this focus on getting the perfect picture of an event is way overblown. Particularly with proposals, where you're somehow supposed to get your girlfriend to the top of a mountain at sunrise or a beach at sunset, with a friend hiding to take photos and keep it a surprise. What is important, I imagine, is for you to feel a certain way when he proposes, not posting a fake photo on social media to announce it. This is a great opportunity for you to explain to him what you would actually like your proposal to be like. Opie replies. My partner can be a bit rigid/left-brained and often has a hard time expressing romantic feelings/desires, even though I know he has them. I do think he feels very pressed to make everything romantic for me even if he doesn't really know how, which often translates to getting it perfect. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel HB Reddit Stories.